Hello Capricorn, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of February 12 through 18. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And I would also go check out your other placements. Watch the videos for your Sun, Moon, and your rising sign, maybe your Venus, maybe even your Mars placement readings, if you want to get a more complete picture of what's going on right now, okay? This is going to be a general reading, and I ask you to be receptive to whatever may come through during our time together, okay? I am merely the messenger, and it's important for you to connect directly with the cards and use your own intuition to go beyond just what I'm telling you, all right? Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here is a Prince of Swords. I hope this is not that air sign person that we've been dealing with for a few weeks here. I thought we had gotten rid of that person, but let's not jump to conclusions, all right? It could be anything at this point. So let's just do the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread. And we are going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, and we are going to use the Hermetic Tarot deck. This one doesn't come out as often as it should. It's a beautiful deck. It's pre-shuffled, but we're just going to take a random card here. We're going to leave that right there. We're not going to look at it until the very end, okay? So you got to stick around to the end of the video, and hopefully that will, tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we're looking for at the very end of things, okay? So we do start the reading with this Prince of Swords. This could be an air sign person, that you've been dealing with. I feel like you have an air sign family member that's always kind of around, that's always like causing trouble, getting into trouble, maybe just kind of being annoying, honestly, right? I don't want to say that, but it just feels like they're always kind of pestering, or they're always like causing little mischief here and there. And I hope this is not the same as what we were dealing with in past weeks, because it caused some kind of a major upset in the business, in the family, kind of a joint thing going on there. I don't know that this is the same person. We're going to go through the rest of the energy, and hopefully this is not some of this air energy coming in to upset the balance. I don't really see much like upset here with these cards. We've got some major arcana. We've got some earth. We've got some fire and water. We've got some water, a little bit of air, more major. It feels pretty balanced. There's nothing that's showing a huge upset in things, okay? So I think that you may be someone who is like very, very tolerant. You're a very forgiving person, Capricorn. You really are. You could put up with a lot, okay? You always give people a second chance. You're very forgiving. You're very open. You're very honest, but you do so in a very gentle way. It feels like you care about other people, you know? And it feels like you really, you don't like confrontation. You don't like having to cut people off. You don't like having to be brutally honest with people. You know what I mean? Like, you try to be gentle. You try to be kind, I think. I think that's the kind of the key word here, is the kindness that we're feeling, okay? And I think that is a very wonderful quality to have. I think being kind is something that's overlooked in the world in general. We need more kindness. But I think there's a limit to your kindness. I think that your kindness could sometimes be taken for weakness, and you're not a weak person at all. No, on the contrary, just based on the last readings that we've had for you, you're an extraordinarily strong person, okay? But you're also kind. And that's something that we don't get very often in people. Usually people are either kind or they're really strong, but to have both in one, now that's something special, okay? What I see kind of crossing your path this week is this exact thing, this need to be strong but also kind, okay? And it could be with an air sign person, or it could be with this younger family member. I'm still getting the vibe that it's like a coworker, family member kind of thing, like someone younger, immature, kind of doesn't know any better, you know, gets into trouble. I don't know who this person is, but we'll get to some possibilities. But I think that you're going to have to be very firm and strong. Stick to your guns. Have the resolve. Be very, very decisive and steadfast in the decisions that you make, but be kind, be gentle. They don't mean any harm, or they don't know any better, they're still learning, etc. Okay? So something's going to come by this week that is going to need you to be strong and assertive, but kind. The Nine of Wands here. Head and heart in balance. Your assertiveness and confidence, your strength, but with a place of love as the origin, right? It's like kind of tough love in a way. It's doing what needs to be done out of kindness and gentleness and love and care and real concern for people, but with strength, not with weakness, not with letting someone else change your mind, change your will, or change you, you know? You're not easily convinced by other people. You're open, you can listen, you're a good listener because you're kind, you're attentive, you enjoy other people, you respect other people, but you're not easily convinced. When you have something in your heart, in your mind that you believe strongly, you're unshakable. And that's the quality that we need this week, okay? You need to be unshakable, but gentle and kind as well. And I think that's just naturally kind of how you are, who you are. But it feels like those are the qualities that really need to be expressed this week. Okay. We're going to go beneath the surface next to this Ten of Cups. Now, the Ten of Cups, it's telling me that you're in a pretty good spot right now in your life. I think the trouble that we had in weeks past is over. I think it's pretty smooth sailing. But I think you're getting maybe a little comfortable in this kind of relaxation, this kind of like big breath of fresh air. You've relaxed into your easy chair and you just don't want to get back up again. You know, and this kind of reminds me of some past readings too, where I think you were like taking a little bit of a break or a vacation or like a staycation. And it was kind of the break in between activity. You know, you get a little bit of downtime. I think you've enjoyed that downtime. I think now things are starting to get back into the swing of things. Things are stable, things are secure, things are abundant and successful. And I think you're just feeling really good about it. I feel a real optimism from you, a real happiness. It feels like you have a more joy, more satisfaction right now in your life. You know? It feels like you kind of have everything you need, and things are good. And you just pretty much want things to continue as they are, right? And that's good. We don't see any major disruptions. We don't see any major disruptions. We're ending the path of the serpent on a little bit of an interesting energy. But I don't think this is, you know, it looks kind of bad if you're looking at the overhead camera. It looks kind of weird there, sitting there at the end. It looks like the path of the serpent really isn't that great. But I don't want to scare you. I don't want to go there yet. I think it's really good. The path of the dove is really great energy. I think over here, we might be talking more about like soul development, like spiritual pursuits, you know? It might be something now where you've gotten the mundane circumstances, the life circumstances in such a beautiful way. I mean, these cards just look beautiful right now. And especially this Ten of Cups down here at the bottom, you feel fulfilled. It feels satisfying. The way you've got your life kind of set up right now. The way things are. And this air person coming in, I don't think it's a big deal. I think you're going to have your kind of unshakable resolve, your strength and kindness. And it's going to lead to just even more stability, security, safety, more harmony and rhythm, right? Let's go to the recent past. And this is the Princess of Discs. I think we've had the Princess of Discs in your past readings a lot, if I remember correctly. And this is talking, this is talking about, in the relatively recent past, I think you've had a growth of something new, a birth of something new. Maybe it's literally like a new addition to the family. If so, congratulations. But I feel like this is just like the birth of abundance, the birth of like success in your business. There's just new harmony, new good things happening in your home, in your business, in your love life, in your career, all, I think everything on the material plane is coming to fruition. You're starting to reap the rewards. Things are now born, they're growing, they're blossoming, they're bearing fruit. Okay? And I think that's kind of what the last maybe few months have been for you. You've been seeing a lot of new things start to grow and blossom and bear fruit. Could, like I said, literally be an addition to the family. Congratulations. But I think it's an overall abundance that has begun to make itself known. I think you've been preparing for this. You've been doing the work. It's been gestating for months and months, right? But just recently, things really just started happening. The money started coming in, or the harmony, the enjoyment, the pleasure, the good friends, the family, the productive relationships, the rhythm and harmony of everything started to produce really good results on the physical plane. Could be new house, could be new car, could be that you finally succeeded in, I don't know, establishing your business, or, landing that first contract, or getting a promotion, or, anything like that. That's just kind of, it's been a lot of work, and now it's starting to bear fruit. Okay? And the Princess of Discs is really about bearing the fruit. And here it is. And it's abundant. And it's leading to a lot of satiety with this Ten of Cups. You're full. You're happy. You're in a good spot, and it's like you had a really good meal. You just want to sit there and enjoy the feeling for a few minutes, And that seems to be how life is kind of set up for you right now. And that's awesome. That's really great. And this air sign person, I think, is just going to be a little small kind of speed bump in the week. Nothing major. You're going to stay resolved, unshakable, strong yet kind. And it's going to lead to the Four of Pentacles, which is more stability and security. It's like, by you taking care of this business, by taking care of whatever issue this is with that air sign person, by being steadfast and strong yet kind, you are ensuring the stability into the future. You're making sure that this doesn't cause a problem. You're patching up that hole before it, gets bigger, before things spring a leak, right? So you're really strengthening the walls. You're putting another brick and a little bit more mortar right there where it needs to be to make sure everything stays stable. So I feel like your physical life, your financial, your physical health even, I think everything is going to be really smooth for a while. It feels like nothing major is really upsetting. There's no major upsets this week. It's pretty stable. It's pretty good. At the top of the path of the dove, we have this hermit energy. So this, I think, this really, for me, is the bridge over to the path of the serpent. This is the connection. And this is you now with all of this kind of harmony and rhythm and stability in your physical life, the mundane world, right? You're starting to turn inwards a little bit. Maybe because it's winter, it's colder, maybe because you have a little bit more downtime now, that the trouble seems to be behind you. You can relax a little bit. You're starting to turn your thoughts to other things. More spiritual pursuits, more religious pursuits. I think that you're someone who at one time was very spiritual, very religious. I think with all of this activity on the physical plane, I still feel like you went into business with your family or something. But you've been so busy on the physical plane with this career, the business, the family, the home, etc., that you haven't really been spending much time in your spiritual realm, in your internal reality, your internal world, communing with yourself, with your guardian angels, your higher self, your spirit guides, God, Goddess, deity, universal mind, universal energy. Not that you've been neglecting that side of you, but I think maybe it's just become rather routine, like the rest of the world here has just become rhythmic and routine and flowing, and it's harmonious, yeah, but it's lacking that kind of inner quality. It's lacking that real connection. It's just become yet another kind of routine in your day, right? Your spiritual practices. It could be your prayer, your rituals, your meditations, your, outside with nature. It could be like through physical activity or dance or your creativity or something like that. I feel like you still do it, but it's become routine. The link there, the connection there is a little bit clouded, veiled, maybe. It's kind of that religious feeling, that emotional component that connects you to it. It doesn't seem to really be there at the moment. Because, like I said, the practices seem like they're just kind of another routine. Like everything else right now is just flowing smoothly, a lot of harmony, but it's routine, and there's that connection is not there. And I think you're turning inwards because of that. You're starting to look at that again and say, okay, now everything's pretty smooth and rhythmic, that now I can devote some time to this inner connection, to this spiritual life, your internal world, And I think that is what bridges us over here to the path of the serpent. And the first card here is your general energy. This is the Princess of Cups. This, I feel, is you starting to do those things that once gave you that real spiritual feeling, that feeling of love and aspiration, that intense religious experience, right? It's almost like the feeling that you used to get way back in the day when you first started your spiritual or religious practices. That feeling that you had, that feeling of, I don't know if it's love, of connection, of unity, however you want to describe that feeling. I think it's unmistakable. You're starting to get that feeling back because you're still doing relatively the same kinds of practices, but that spiritual feeling, that religious feeling hasn't been there lately. And I think you're starting to get that back. You're starting to focus on that. And that's why this is the Princess of Cups. It's the beginning energy. It's taking the first couple steps now, just getting your feet wet, dipping a toe in, to start that process again, to start building up that feeling, okay? And in your environment, we see this major arcana, this Justice or Adjustment card. I think in some ways you're looking at this as like just your lot in life, this kind of your karma, this is kind of where you are in life. These are your responsibilities. This is your environment, right? If this card, it's in the position of your environment. So if this card is kind of talking about how we're looking at the environment or our experience of the environment, it's almost like you have such a commitment here that you're immersed in here, that this is your lot in life. This is where you're supposed to be. This is what is meant for you. And the rest of it is just, it's not your time for that. It's just not something that is yours right now. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Because we wouldn't see that Hermit card up there if that were the case. I think this religious feeling, the spiritual experience, is just as much a component of your karma, of your life, of your situation, of your world, of your reality right now, as it ever was or as it ever could be. I think it's just as important and just as relevant. Maybe more relevant, because we feel that absence. I think that's the one thing. We said with the Ten of Cups that there's nothing missing right now. Life is good, right? But then up here, we've got that Hermit. There's part of us that feels like we're just missing that little connection. And I think that's the religious, that's the spiritual connection. That's what we have with this THOTH card, with the fire of the earth. This represents Capricorn, right? Capricorn is an earth sign, but inside is that intense spiritual fire. And I think that fire in you is still there. I just think it is a little bit clouded, a little bit dim right now at the moment. Okay, but that fire is still in there. That fire is still in there. And that fire that's in there is the same lamp that this Hermit carries. Okay? You're still carrying it. We maybe just have set it down somewhere. We don't remember where it is. But we can get back to it. And that is kind of contradicting this card a little bit, because this card is saying, well, this is your karma, this is your lot in life, this is where you're supposed to be, and this is kind of your commitment, your responsibilities. Yeah, but this responsibility is also to yourself and to your spirit and to this spiritual experience, this connection, this unity, this crazy, awesome, mysterious, scary universe that we live in, So with this, it is it's kind of like you've set up your life this way, and now you have to live it. It's like you've made your bed, you have to lie in it now, right? Yeah, that's true. You do have commitments and responsibilities. You've built this life, now you're kind of responsible for it. But you also are responsible to yourself, to your soul, to your spirit, to this religious connection, to the spiritual work that you do. Because I think without this spiritual component, we're doing this. And this is my Five of Swords. I get this card almost every reading now. And this is the 4 elements dominating the spiritual element, the 5th element down here at the bottom, right? It's the pentagram. This is why the pentagram is looked at as an evil symbol, right? The inverted pentagram, I should say. Because it is about getting so immersed in the physical realm, in the 4 elements, our body, our mind, our emotions, that we're losing the connection with that spiritual fire, with that lamp, with that light, with that 5th element. Okay? We're pushing it down. We're giving it like 2nd priority or 5th priority instead of 1st. So this is a real immersion of the spirit in matter. Okay? So that's not really a bad thing, right? We want spirit to kind of permeate everything we do. Spirit is in everything. Spirit is in all of the elements. Spirit is underneath as the foundation of all of the elements. We can look at this card not in a negative way, but in a positive way and say everything that we do has our religious, spiritual experience, our spiritual energy, the spirit, as its foundation, as the glue that holds it all together, the force that animates everything, the reason why we do everything, the basis for everything, right? That's why it's underneath. That makes sense. It's the foundation. Okay? But this could also be that we are covering up that spirit with all of this activity, all of these other elements. We're pushing spirit down, 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 down. And I say spirit, I'm not talking about any particular religious, system or spiritual system or anything like that. Just that experience that we all have of the divine in some way. Whatever you want to call it, however you experience it, whatever you believe that it is, that's up to you. And everyone is unique. And that's what I love about everybody. We're all different. We all look at things in a different way. But I think we all know what that feeling is. And that's the feeling that we need to get back. But I think we've pushed it so far down underneath the mundane elements that we need to do a little digging to find it. And I think the potential is to really bring spirit back on top. Make spirit the focal point for a while. Yes, it's the foundation of everything. Everything rests on it. Okay? But right now we need to kind of put it back on top, put it back in the focus, the center of attention for a while. To get that feeling back, to bring this Princess of Cups all the way to like a Knight of Cups, all the way kind of up the ladder. Maybe the mystery card, Knight of Cups. Could be. And this is by really a conscious effort, a mental effort of putting our spiritual practices at the forefront, making everything we do a spiritual practice. And rather than making our spiritual practice everything we do, right? It's a subtle difference, but it's important. And so I think that this kind of is the work. This is the concern for you, that are you going to ever get that feeling back? Are you going to be able to find that spirit in the middle, in the kind of the chaos or in the complexity and activity of daily life, of this rhythm and routine? Are you going to find the spirit, and are you going to let spirit take the wheel, get in the driver's seat, make it the focal point, make it kind of first priority, and allow its influence to come down to every other element, every other aspect of your life? And again, this is primarily a mental thing that is kind of forging the links and arranging things, changing the way we think so that we can put spirit back at the priority. or our spiritual practices, or our pursuit of that religious feeling, the religious experience, or again, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm not trying to alienate anybody. So I think that's the work, that's the concern. We're going to leave that card right side up for the time being. And now we're going to address this death card at the very end. Okay, this is, I think, really talking about a chance to start something new. This is maybe this idea that once upon a time you had this kind of spiritual religious connection, maybe before you started your career, before you had your family and your life got so complex, you had a different life. You know, maybe you were single, you were alone, whenever, I don't know. And the death card is saying that, look, we can't go back to the past. We can't time travel. We can't get that same feeling back because life is different now. What we have to do is start over, begin fresh, start new. Let go of who we were in the past when we had this, maybe we had ample time to pursue our spiritual, work. We have to let go of that. Hanging on to that kind of past life is just nostalgia. And it's not living in the present. We have to deal with the circumstances as they are now and begin your spiritual practices new. Start fresh, right? I'm just going to check the time here. I feel like we're getting a little long. Yeah, we're almost at a half an hour here. I'll try to speed things up. So I feel like this is kind of like you've got to make room for that. You've got to make room for this spirit back at the top now. Okay. And this is kind of clearing out, in some ways, clearing out any kind of wasted energy, right? Just physically making room. Clear out a room, make a temple, make a little altar. Clear out some of the kind of extra activities in your life, all the busyness that we fill our time with. Make some space in time for you to pursue this, for you to focus on that and make spirit the priority. At least carve out a little 5 or 10 minutes here and there. Make a little altar. You can make an altar, keep in your pocket, bring it out whenever you need to. Something, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to give specific examples, but I'm trying to stress the idea that even in our busy lives, when it feels like we have no time for anything, we can, if we make it a priority, carve out little bits of time, carve out a little corner of a room, a little corner of your desk, to have a little altar, to do something that's going to at least remind you to maybe close your eyes for a minute and do a prayer or a ritual or a meditation, even if it's only 30 seconds. When you're on the bus, when you're riding in a car, not driving. When you're a passenger in a car, just close your eyes. Do it 30 seconds, 5 minutes. It's about just starting new and not worrying so much about how it used to be, how it used to feel, the things I used to pursue, what I used to have time for. All that is gone. Every morning is a new awakening, a new birth, right? A new opportunity, a new day. So this is really, I think, about letting go of what we used to have, or the feelings that we used to have, and look at it as a new birth, a new growth, a new process of evolution, right? Kind of in a new phase of your life now. Things are going to be different. You're different. Your circumstances are different. Your responsibilities are different. Your thinking is different. Your feelings are different. And this is kind of that new step into this new kind of unknown, uncharted territory where you kind of have to learn how to do this stuff again. I don't know how long it's been since you've really had the focus on your spiritual practices, but I feel like maybe it's been a little bit, like again, I think they're still there in the routine kind of way, but to have this real connection, to forge this new link with spirit, with your higher self, guardian angel, whatever, I think it's going to take some new tactics, right? And you've got to clear a little bit of soil for yourself to plant the new seed of that spiritual connection. And I think this is really important for you. I think this is what you really need coming out of the path of the dove. It seems to me this is the real important work for you. Let's look at this mystery card before we get kind of too long on this reading. What did I think it was? I thought maybe the Knight of Cups, right? Showing the evolution of this spiritual religious feeling that we have with the Princess of Cups. So let's see what we've got. Well, we've got a Knight of Swords. Okay, so that is close. We're getting there, right? We're getting there. The Knight of Swords here. So this is showing the evolution of some of this mental energy. The evolution of some of this mental energy, which is going to find ways now to clear some room in our minds, right? To do this work, to make this connection. Maybe we're so busy thinking about it and worrying about it and stressing about everything that we're missing a lot of opportunities to make this spiritual connection, to do the spiritual work. Because again, I think we're doing it in a routine way, but our minds maybe are still thinking about the laundry or work or the kids or what we got to do tomorrow or what we did yesterday, or worrying about worrying. Am I worrying too much? Am I thinking too much? Do I have enough time for my spiritual practice? So a lot of that is this just thoughts, nonstop thinking. So the Knight of Swords is someone who is able to use that fire, right? The kind of inner fire that we see here with this Tatwa card, which is your kind of Capricorn nature, to clear away those thoughts, just burn away those cobwebs, and just have a calm, peaceful mind and do the spiritual work. Make the emotional, religious, spiritual connection rather than thinking about making the spiritual, religious. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good confirmation. And I think we can all use this advice. I mean, this is resonating with me, and I don't really have a strong Capricorn placement in my chart, but this is resonating with me a lot. And I hope it's resonating with you, and we're going to do an extended. Click on the link right here. You can have access to all of the extended readings. There's one membership level. It's the Dove and Serpent level. It should be easy. Click on it. Become a member. You can have access to all of the readings, all of the extendeds, every sign, weekly, monthly, any bonus stuff that we do. And you'll be supporting the channel in a very important way. I appreciate you watching this video. I'm sorry that it went a little long. But Capricorn, you've had some challenges in the recent weeks and months. And so I'm really hoping that you take this opportunity to focus on your inner connections, the inner kind of spiritual, your inner life, your internal world and reality, and make that connection, because I think it's very important to, again, put spirit back on top, at least for a time. Make it a priority, so that if you do, flip this card around the other way, then spirit will be that foundation, and you'll have that confidence and that connection that never goes away, right? And every act, every routine, every mundane thing, every even little conflict is going to be that kind of spiritual experience. Because spirit will be in everything. It's just a shifting of focus. I think the connection doesn't go away. Like I said, it just becomes clouded or veiled, or there's just some kind of cobwebs covering it up, Anyway, thank you so much for letting me read for you. This was your weekly tarot reading for February 12 through 18 on Dove and Serpent Tarot.